Yeah, Mess got it.
Yeah, it was
Let's see.
92, right?
Yeah, just trying to look here. But anyway,
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you though. As far as us on this show, I definitely don't think we talked about Panarin enough. I definitely, I think I may have talked more about how I enjoyed, how he reacted to New York and embraced New York more than I actually talked about, what an amazing player he was on the ice. Because he was such like a constant. I mean, he was just guaranteed points every night that I think it was just like, oh yeah, well he was awesome again. So let's talk about the three-headed goalie monster like insanity. That's going on. So yeah, it's funny. I don't think we like gushed on him enough. I don't think there was a single week, but again, we can look back at the tape that he was, my man crush of the week. He should have been it every week.
yeah,
Um, and I don't think he was it ever. So, yeah, I agree. It's funny that we probably didn't give him enough props, throughout the season on this show because, you know, positivity doesn't bring in the ratings. You got to be negative. So we got to point out, yeah, we got to get a debate going. We want people, to get emotional when they, listen to the show. So we talk about other things that get people fired up, like Tony D'Angelo's love for Donald Trump.
oh man, it's too funny, but it's true, man. I mean, we gushed over Mika, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and we really did. And I don't. It's obvious, like I said, we love the guy. He's such a huge part of their success, obviously. But it's weird. I don't know what it is, but we really didn't spend a lot of time talking about him. Not because we don't like him, we love him. But I think we found ourselves to be a little spoiled. It's almost like, yeah, well, don't worry about Artemi. He's fine. Because, right, that's the whole theme of this team and us coming back with the podcast, the rebuild. We used to say that a lot, the rebuild of the rebuild, all the changes, throughout the season. And we would just kind of focus on so many different things and shots on goal. And you're right, the goaltending situation and Coach Quinn. You remember that pocket of the time there when they were in that tailspin and we were talking about, that discussion about Quinn getting fired possibly and everything else. I mean, you can – a lot of things that we talked about during the season can stand out. Like I'm thinking about them right now, a lot of the stuff that we talked about. But Panarin wasn't one of them. And I think it's more than anything, it's just because we were spoiled. And here he is, nominated for the Hart Trophy, and it's phenomenal. And he's still finishing, KD. He's still in the midst of finishing his first year of this monster contract that he's got. We've got him for 40 years now, right? So, I mean, this 7-year, $81 million contract, and he hasn't even finished year one, and he might win the Hart Trophy. And on August 1st here, this guy's going to be probably carrying this team on his back and hopefully running, right through the Canes and then putting everybody on the hill. If they beat the
Yeah,
Canes, they're going to make a lot of teams nervous.
you know what that means though. It's all downhill from here for Panarin. I mean, first season Hart Trophy finalist. I mean, there's only one way to go. So, oh man. Actually,
Look,
Paulie, I looked it up. So Panarin is the first Ranger Hart Trophy finalist since Henrik Lundqvist in 11-12,
okay.
and he's the first skater since Yager. So I was right there
Well, you're
in
always right. You're
oh
always right,
05 oh
KD.
six season.
0506. What a
Yeah,
year it was, buddy.
yeah.
No coronavirus, no riots. Good
I
times.
tell I I tell you what, one of my favorite like Yager moments when he was a Ranger. I had season tickets back then. Was I think it was that year in the playoffs. They played the Penguins in the second round, and I was at the game, and they were down. They lost the game, but he put the team on his back. I remember he went down the middle into the lane. He got absolutely laid out, but buried the goal, and from that moment, I just fell in love with the guy. I mean, beyond all the goals that he was scoring, that was like a toughness that, I didn't know he had in him during that series against the Penguins, and he made this move to the net. I don't know if you remember that. He just got laid out, and he was laid out on the ice afterward. But he made the move to the center of the ice where you got to go in the playoffs, and he had the big goal in that game to get the team back. Actually, you know what it was? They were down, and he came back. He scored that goal to tie it, and friggin' Ryan Holwig, friggin' moron, took just a terrible boarding hit penalty. And I think the Rangers went down like 2 guys, and Malkin scored like 5 goals on the ensuing power play.
And Ryan never did that stuff.
Oh, I know. It was just awful. Back then, you loved him because he was on that line with like Ortmeyer and Moore. So that was like the line, as this team was like coming back, and you used all the overpriced veteran guys, and you had that line of Holwig, Ortmeyer, and Dominic Moore. And I just love that line, except for that one play, freaking Holwig. I would never forget that he took that penalty. The guard was going nuts. Yager scored that goal. I was just like, they're going to win this game. They're going to win this series. On literally the next shift, freaking took that boarding penalty.
And it's unfortunate because Holwig probably would have been up for the Hart Trophy that year.
Yeah, there you go. That's right. What they call him? They used to call him Hollywood Holwig. Wasn't that like his nickname? Good Lord.
Oh, the good old days. Well, congratulations to Artemi, or as they're calling them now on Rangers social media, Artemi.
You think he'll win it? Yes.
Why not? I don't even know the other 2 guys. Who are the other 2 guys? Do I care?
Draisaitl and McKinnon.
Well, they're line mates, right? No, I mean McKinnon. Well, you know what? I tell you, man, Draisaitl obviously had an absolute phenomenal year this year. I mean, it's weird because it's still going on with McDavid, no doubt about it. But
yeah, but he plays with McDavid. I mean, we're joking around about Strome, but Panarin's on a line with Strome and Fost. And he put up 90 points. I mean,
well, it all depends now on how you look at these guys.
Points.
Yeah. Well, it all depends with the Hart Trophy, right? How you look at these guys in terms of how they stood out on the team and what they did for the team, right? So, Artemi's got all the points, right? He's the biggest impactful player as far as offensively, for the Rangers. And also, just his play, his style. What did Panarin even go out? I mean, he was injured maybe once or twice. I can't even remember. I think he got sick 1 week or something like that. Can you remember?
He played in They played 70 games this year. He played in 69 of them. So
there you go. Yeah, I think it was out 1 game, right? And because I think I remember Rangerland was like, "Oh my God, it's over, it's done."
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, he only missed 1 game.
So you take Artemi's role here with the Rangers, and then you put it up against Draisaitl, and you make a valid point. He played with McDavid. Now, McKinnon, I love the Avalanche. I love that squad. They're just young. Landeskog, they've got so much talent on there. McKinnon's just one of them, And that guy, as far as that team and what he's done for them too. So I would almost put that would be my thing. Put Draisaitl to the side for the reason that you talked about. He played with McDavid. But McKinnon is on a squad with a bunch of guys that they've been playing together for quite a few years now. They go back to the days when Wah was coaching, that team. So it's been a few years. They've gotten to the playoffs, so on and so forth. Artemi, again, he just comes to this team, this squad, this young Rangers inexperienced team, and look what they've done. Obviously, they're in the playoffs now, but with the season, the regular season, the way they were and the way they're playing and the impact they have with the team, he's a veteran, and he was such a. You take Panarin out of the Rangers lineup, right, for all those games. The Rangers aren't. They don't get a sniff.
They're in last place.
Colorado probably gets a sniff. if McKinnon goes down because of the rest of the talent on that team. If Draisaitl goes down, McDavid could probably carry that team, right? But maybe on the – I don't know if – because even when Zibanejad went down, Panarin was there. Kreider went down. Panarin was there. So I look at it this way. Panarin, you can't take him out of the lineup, and the Rangers don't have the success that they have this year without him. Whereas the other nominees, they might be able to still have the success, and plus they've got the experience on the team anyway, more than what the Rangers have. So, yes, I think Artemi deserves it. He gets it.
I think you nailed it right there. I think if you take all three of those guys off their teams, I think the Rangers are – I don't know if they're in last place because Detroit was so god-awful, but they're in probably 15 – they're probably the 15th, team in the East, out of 16 teams because he meant that much. You take those other guys off the team, I think the Avalanche are still in the playoffs, and Edmonton is probably fighting for a playoff spot. So – without Draisaitl. So I think that right there is it. I think that Panarin meant more to the Rangers than those guys did to their team. And those two guys are tremendous players and deserve to be finalists. But I think that Panarin, to me, and of course we're biased, but I think that the Rangers team is god awful without him in the standings. So as they're rebuilding. I don't want to make it sound like this team is terrible, but they were rebuilding. It's a rebuilding year. He literally took them from a rebuilding year to now in the playoffs.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Bonafide, your number one forward, right? He makes Book play better. He makes Mika play better. He makes Strome plays better. He makes, Kreider, Fost, Hedel. His impact on this franchise and this team, again, and this goes back to the free agency and where he was going to sign. As soon as he signed with the Rangers, it just took them up 10 levels. And if he had went to the Islanders or if he had went down to Florida, this Ranger season is completely different. It's a total different painting. And you look at the numbers here, and this is from the Post, 32 goals, 63 assists, plus 36, plus minus 36, 71 even strength points.
Yeah.
46 even. 71 even strength points. But again, the Rangers, they're really in a rebuild without Panarin. But you remember those first couple of weeks, and, I think it was against the Senators and stuff, and Zibanejad. Remember that passing play? I think it was Book, Panarin, and Zibanejad. You remember when, they used that as a gift, and Mika kind of looked and was like, holy shit, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That was the level, that's what Panarin put into this team. You can't, his impact is huge. Like I said, McKinnon's been there. McDavid and Draisaitl have been there. This guy left, the Blue Jackets, biggest free agent signing. And again, just the Rangers are not even in the conversation right now, because they don't. Who makes up those points, KD? Right? Who?
Yeah,
who makes up those points?
Yeah, because I don't think that Zibanejad has the year he has without Panarin on the team because they were on separate lines. They weren't even playing together. So now their opponents are probably game planning more in their defensive strategy is geared more towards Panarin. They can't have their defensive forwards out against both lines. So, they got to pick their poison. So, I'm not saying that Zibanejad wasn't going to have a great year anyway, but I don't think he was going to, have 75 points in just 57 games. I think that having, Panarin just on another line, and I think Panarin alluded to this during his press conference the other day when he was announced as a finalist, that, just having them on separate lines really helped each other. But I think it was probably more Panarin helping Zibanejad than the other way around.
Yeah, and you could look at some of those, those games when Shesty went down and then, he comes back, and even on Shesty's run too. There's more than a handful of games where what you're describing is a major impact. I'm thinking of the games against the Islanders, and I think about the Islanders because of how good they were